Hello. All right. So we are live, and we do not know the ruling yet by NASCAR. We're gonna react to this live. Bell and Byron both looked ejected. No celebrating's been done. I'm watching Twitter is blowing up. I'm waiting for if anyone gets a leak here on the call. I will keep an eye on the chat as well with this. Let me just get everything put together. We are not going to put the official results or really talk about that yet until we get something here. But I'm going to be honest, that entire last 10 laps was sus in every single way. Bell, to me, looked like he rode the wall. He didn't ride it the entire way around. I don't know if that's NASCAR's loophole, if they call it that way. But that looked like a wall ride. And they said that they made the wall ride illegal. I don't know the exact verbiage of it because we didn't think we'd get this far. But let's be honest, too. The Bubba Wallace stuff of itchy arm, you know, everyone's saying there, have a flat tire. Very sus as well. And I'm going to be honest, I even questioned it just thinking about it, watching the 1 and the 3. It looked like they were playing defense for the 24 as well. So you have multiple sides of it here, completely up to NASCAR officiating. I mean, yeah, they're showing the replay on my end here. He rode from the Martinsville logo of the middle of the corner all the way out, got past Bubba Wallace to get that extra point. There looked like a lot of team and manufacturer orders. And to me, I don't know if NASCAR necessarily penalizes any of the manufacturer orders. The team orders or anything like that would definitely be the call. But this is this format Spingate in every way. For as great as the finish in that entire race, I thought that was a really good race. That was a marked improvement over recent years. Oh. Wow. Wow, that is a smoking gun. I don't know if you heard the Austin Dillon radio there. Oh my God, that is clear as day. My solution? I don't even know who the hell is 6th. Take them both out. Take the 20 and the 24 both out of it. Whoever's 6th gets in. But I mean, for everyone that said that this system was like the Spingate proof system, here you go. I think this is even worse. This is absolutely ridiculous in every single way. And what I'm gonna tell you now, I have no sides on this. I just feel bad for the fans of the 20 and the 24 having to go through this crap. I really do. Who is Larson 6th? Then put Larson in. I mean, they're talking about knowing the deal and getting updates on points and all of that. You're seeing people have flat tires and running it out there the whole way. This just stinks in every single way. This is full-on race manipulation in every single way that NASCAR says that they're against. They penalized Stewart-Haas Racing for this kind of stuff at the Roval, I think last year or the year before. One of the last couple years. I don't even remember because we have so many of these damn things happening. This is ridiculous. So we have no update yet. I mean, you got to penalize them both. You do. You've got to penalize them both on this. I don't see how you can't, especially with everything going on. You could say that they weren't involved because it was the other teams, but it was clear that the other teams were shipping their races to help them. It's clear from the race audio that the 3 and the 1 at least knew what was going on, and that's what influenced how they raced behind the 24. It's clear that the 20 wall rode, and on top of that, it's clear that the 23 was out there still on a flat tire and slowing up. We have the telemetry on all of this. We can pull it up. Oh God, man. This is just great. Absolutely great. I apologize that this is not like the normal stream that you're probably all coming in and waiting for, but this is ridiculous. I mean, how many more of these things are we going to go through before we realize we have an issue here? The cat is out of the bag. You're not reining it back in unless you completely redefine the format, I think, at this point. And this isn't me going, oh, Winston Cup or Chase or any of that, but I mean, unless NASCAR governs every single person and is sitting there on the line the entire time, like NSA style here, I don't know how you stop this from happening. I mean, I said the other night after the truck race that, the finale, why don't these guys just start wrecking each other up and whatever and just, oh, NASCAR, you going to penalize me? You going to take my championship away? Do that. They're doing it with this too. So, I mean, you got to put NASCAR in that position because NASCAR has opened the door for this. This is just... maybe we can add Jeff Gordon into the championship at this point. So we're going to keep waiting for what's going on. For anybody kind of, for anybody that's jumping in fresh off of it here or turned off the broadcast, Bell, from what it looked like, we could see it on there, on the broadcast, looked to wall ride his way in. Bubba Wallace told to stay out on a flat tire. They'll definitely have to have somebody on Twitter or somewhere take a picture of that 23 and see if there really was a flat tire. The 1 and the 3 seemed to be in on what was going on with the 24 and not pulling by him at any point when they were clearly faster. This is this decade spin gate. This is it. As great as this race was, no one's going to remember how many good things happened with this race. This moment here, this is it. So we're going to keep waiting. We're going to look. I mean, this is my solution. I'm going to say it again. Yeah, we're at Wallgate here. I'm going to say it again, man. This is my solution. You take out the 20, you take out the 24, you put the 5 in. Like, and this isn't, oh, I'm a Larson homer or anything. I think a lot of people that have watched me for a while, whether it be this, NWP, whatever it might be, I think I am not some Hendrick homer. People call me a Hendrick hater. I'm not taking sides on this. But what happened there, I mean, you have to make a stand now if you're NASCAR. You can't just not penalize them and let it all pass. You can't just take one side or the other because favoritism, especially if you just do the 20, will immediately go up and say, oh, you're Hendrick, homers and all this crap. They're going to say it if the 5 gets put in, but at least then you're consistent with the two guilty parties here. This is ridiculous. But yeah, like Propagate said, how do you penalize the manufacturers for obviously being in cahoots on this? Because if you piss them off, then you're talking about a huge amount of money being taken away from the sport if they get pissed off enough to lower support. I'm waiting for any update at this point. I like at KensethFan1720 on Twitter says NASCAR's awarded the last Final Four spot to Bobby Allison. Let's put a poll up on it. I mean, again, we're not going to go in on any of this until we know what is going on. Coming back from commercial on my end, I know I'm a little behind everybody on that. What do you do? And I get, people say scrap the playoffs, do all this. I get that. We can talk about all of that this week. But we're talking about the here and now with the system we have. So do you do no penalty? Let's see, DQ 20, DQ 24, DQ 20 and 24. Polls up. Vote away, y'all. Vote away. All right, we're still just watching a bunch of melancholy drivers and teams. Bell looks like he knows what happened. Like, he knows that he's guilty. I don't see how the 20 makes this unscathed in any way. The 24 has the alibi that, oh, we didn't know about what the 1 and the 3 were doing, but the radio shows that there had to be some kind of cahoots on it all. I'm waiting for more. And listen, I'm with Jeff Gluck here. I am fine with NASCAR taking their time on this because I do want them to get it right. The problem is I don't think they're going to get it right. I have no faith in NASCAR and the booth up there. I have no faith in them in any way getting this call right. I feel like we're going to see somebody get screwed and somebody get rewarded for cheating. That's where I'm at. And that's it. It's full on cheating. And this isn't like cheating like, oh, you found something in the rule book that's a gray area cheating. No, this is just blatantly taking advantage of the fact that NASCAR has been so lax on calling penalties on stupid stuff like this. This is it, man. I mean, this is Spingate. And the thing is, Boyer wasn't going to compete in any way. Truex wasn't in 2013. Gordon didn't. Like this, in my opinion, when you look at how the legitimacy of the sport is looked at, when you look at the damn legitimacy of NASCAR, when you look at it, this is bigger than Spingate. This right here, this fully exposes any issues people have had with this. We'll get to the super chats, I promise. We will get to all of the other stuff in the race, I promise. But this is ridiculous. Yeah, no one's going to be happy with this. Joshua in the chat's completely right. No one's going to be happy with whatever they call here. We're sitting 12 minutes on live, and we went live about 3-4 minutes after the race ended. Ryan Blaney is in. I mean, the guys we have in are Joey, Reddick, and Blaney. Now we're just waiting on the 4th spot. But the fact that we're waiting this long makes me think we're going to get a real verdict on this, and we have to get it before the end of the broadcast. You cannot go to, football pregame or anything without at least 2 to 3 million people who are watching on the edge of their seat not knowing what happened here. So they got to get this damn call ready now. But this is just, I mean, in every freaking way awful. And it just, for people asking, like, why did so many people walk away from the sport? It's stupid stuff like this. It's just completely brain dead stuff like this. We're waiting still. I mean, this is fully blatant. Mark Martin, we have a shit show here. Yes, we do, Mark. Yes, we do. I'm happy at least that Mark didn't have to race through this kind of crap in this era. I get there was bad stuff in all of the NASCAR eras and stuff, but this is just, what? Bravo, Ryan Blaney. Bravo for going up there and winning the race and being just really damn good all day. Let's be positive about that. We're looking at the polling now, by the way. Exit polls coming out. It is the season, and it looks like the vast majority of you are saying DQ on both. We have second in that 17% saying no penalty. 15% say DQ the 20. 5% say DQ the 24. I'm sorry. I can't take it serious anymore. I mean, this is one of those defining moments. You got to pick a side at this point. And there's no way that you can say that the system we have, the doors that NASCAR has opened up with their rule calling, all of that has not called this. Now they got a camera on Kyle Larson. Guys, we know something's going to happen here. Like they got a Kyle Larson cam already. Of course, Kyle's going to hide from the cameras because that's what he does. Bell looks like he just heard his dog got shot. I mean, he knows he's guilty. Everyone knows Bell is guilty. Bell for sure will be out. It's a matter of if they penalize the 24. That's the question here. Let's see what else we got here. I mean, I'm going to see what you guys are saying for the most part. This is a NASCAR soap opera drama. Yeah. A lot of people saying give it to Larson. Wallace guilty, not Bell. But the thing is, people are like, oh, you can't penalize a team for what another team does when it comes to individual, race teams. And I get like Spingate was one organization, but we have literally heard on the broadcast, we have literally heard the teams say that the manufacturers work closer together as teams, bigger overall teams now. It is the same thing. It is the same thing. And I get that, the precedent, well, we can't penalize so-and-so because they don't know what the 1 or the 3 or the 23 are doing. Like, no, that's crap. That is crap. Like, they would not be paying attention to the point side of it, looking at all of that, moving around positions and all of that, if they were not in some way in on that. And at that point, I mean, I don't even see how they could be a legitimate member of the championship at that point. for what it's worth. They gave it to Byron. They gave it to William Byron. What a fucking joke. Wow. Good luck anyone ever getting rid of the Hendrick favored accusations that fans levy out. Good luck. This is so dumb. The 20 should be out. They got that part right. They got that part right. I'm just listening to what Byron's saying right now. This is a complete disaster in every way. So William Byron is in. He is your Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, and also the only Chevrolet member of the Final Four in 2024. Bell out on a safety violation. No, he doesn't know what to say because he knows he did something wrong. It's better to stay quiet and not incriminate yourself more. Sorry, we're gonna listen to this as it goes. Well, there it is. We have our Final Four. I don't know if they're changing like the positions or anything like that. I don't know if they've like black flagged. At the moment. Bell has been black flagged to 22nd. Last car a lap down. Let's put the unofficial on here. We will have the unofficial results in a moment, but yes, it is William Byron who will now be in the fourth spot. He will be in with Ryan Blaney, who won today, Tyler Reddick, who won last week, and Joey Logano, who is in on an even number year. So Penske makes up half of the Final Four. Then Byron in the lone Chevy entry and the lone Toyota entry to none other than Tyler Reddick. And as it's looking now, Bell will finish 22nd. That's at least what NASCAR has unofficially. Let's read off the unofficial results from the 2024 Xfinity 500. We will talk a lot more about everything that's going on here, and I will keep an eye on what you guys are saying in the chat. But after 500 laps, 3 hours, 28 minutes, 31 seconds, 7 leaders, 15 lead changes, 9 cautions, Ryan Blaney gets the victory. Then you got Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Austin Cindric, Denny Hamlin, the top 5. Then Byron, Dillon, Chastain, Keselowski, Logano, the top 10. Gregson, SVG 12th. 13th is Bowman, 14th Priest, 15th Briscoe. Then Barry and Hemrick round out the lead lap. Guys a lap down are Bubba Wallace 18th, 19th Eric Jones, 20th Ricky Stenhouse, 21st Zane Smith, and Christopher Bell, 22nd now, unofficially moved to the 22nd spot, last a lap down. I think that's just where NASCAR's probably going to leave him. 23rd, 2 down is Suarez, Truex, Hocevar, the top 25, 2 down as well for 26th place. Todd Gilliland, Kaz Grala, 3 down in 27th. Kyle Busch, 28th, 3 down. Then same for Haley and Chris Buescher, the top 30. 4 laps down for Nemechek in 31st. Gibbs, 5 down in 32nd. 10 laps down for Michael McDowell in 33rd. Rest of the guys out being 34th place Tyler Reddick, Corey LaJoie 35th, Harrison Burton 36th, and 37th place finishing and last place finishing Josh Bilicki. We're going to put those up at the top. And where is that? There it is. There's probably something that I've spelled wrong. I'm not going to focus on it for a bit. We're going to end this poll here. And I'm going to put another poll out, and this is just straight yes or no. Did NASCAR make the right call? Uh, telling you, we just add Jeff Gordon in. Did NASCAR make the right call? So Jeff Gordon or Bobby Allison should be in. This is a disaster in every way. This is a disaster in every single way imaginable. Every way that this race could have ended out, other than the way it did, is better than what we got here today when it comes to the championship on it. Because this is the thing. This was the first time since I was at the race in 2021 in the fall when Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin got in it. When Alex Bowman got the win, the last race of the Gen 6 era at Martinsville. It's the first time since then I've watched a Martinsville race and said, this is it. This is a Martinsville race. This is the track I love. And the racing was not the greatest. I will say that. It was there. It can definitely still have improvement, but it was a much better race than we've had in a while. The finish came down to the wire. I was ready to come on here. I actually had it ready to go until the wall ride, and until the fiasco started. That I was going to say the battle between Blaney, Elliott, and Larson was probably the best you can get from the playoffs. That is the NASCAR playoffs at its best. That is the part of it that I think everyone can agree on and like. You can't really dislike that all that much. And then we had this happen. And it's old. It's just old. You know, I see some saying that Bell got robbed. I see others saying, you know, that they got it right. And I mean, the way because the way you can look at it, you know, the Logano argument already was coming in, people being like, this is BS that a guy who sucked all year could get wins at the right time, make into the last round before the final with a DQ and all that. Like, that was already going to be a storyline going in that fans had, and we're going to be talking about this week. But now you got this, where it's pretty clear. I mean, I think it's pretty clear to anyone that Chevrolet as an entire, basically giant conglomerate team was working together on this one, that had some kind of plan. Like, what does it matter to the 3 or the 1 where the 24 is in points? They are not Hendrick Motorsports. You know, they are not in that building. They are the same manufacturer, and they work together with different technical alliances and stuff. But I mean, they just parked it side by side and didn't pass. They just sat there behind them. We heard the radio call between the Austin Dillon crew where it's like, does he know the deal? Like, really? I mean, that is blatant. And that's not like, and again, I'm sure probably William Byron might have known something about that, but I don't think that he was like, you know, I don't see the drivers as the masterminds of all of this. I see them as the team tells them what to do and they do it. The Chevy tells them what to do and they do it. And that's the question I think I had earlier when we started this, is like, I get how you can penalize the 20 for the wall ride. And I think that was the right call. They made the rule. You stick with the rule. You stay consistent. But I think the part I said earlier too is it's got to be much harder to be able to penalize the 24 and Chevrolet, because it was clearly a manufacturer-based decision. That was not the 24 team all at once saying that. It was more clear to be a Chevrolet decision. So how do you punish the OEMs? I don't see a way you punish them. I don't see how NASCAR can go and punish one of the 3 OEMs they have when they can't even get somebody else to be more interested than just a newspaper article, you know? So this is just, I mean, it is, and I see, like, yeah, didn't someone in chat, Leah here says, didn't Bubba have a tire going down? I mean, that's what they said. They said he had a tire going. Brian Vickers apparently had a tire going down during Spingate. You know, Clint Boyer's arm was itching. You know, like, they're never going to blatantly say it like, hey, slow down and let Bell by. Like, they're not going to say it, but it's clear that's what he was doing. Unless somebody can show me a picture, which I am open to it, that shows that they had a tire going down, then I'll believe you then if you can show me verifiable evidence. But this is just, let's see. I mean, there's some here that are like NASCAR reporters saying there was a double rule break, the 23 manipulating and the wall ride versus a single rule break of the 3 and the 1. I think that both should have had theirs finished. I'm sticking with this. This is where I'm going with it, and maybe we can talk about it on Wednesday on NWP, and we'll have a different take. But I think they both should have been stripped of their position in this race. Put to the tail end of the lead lap, put to the tail end of a lap down, like they did with Bell, and next one up, which in this case would have been Larson. I didn't know if it was going to be Larson or Elliott or who it would be, but next, or maybe Hammond. I think it was, I'm almost certain it was Larson. That's how it should have been. NASCAR had a chance to make the right call, and in my opinion, did not do it. Now, I get that people are going to say, well, the 24 team didn't do it, and that's probably going to be the way NASCAR tries to weasel out of this. To me, this is just NASCAR not taking accountability for the issues that they created. I'm going to say that I'm going to even I won't absolve the teams. They were the wrongdoers in this, but I will say this. NASCAR put them in this box. NASCAR was the ones who made this system, made it so that it was this easy to manipulate once they could figure it out. And now you have what is, I would say, arguably the second biggest race of the year when you look at the big picture of the championship. When you look at it now, the second biggest race of the year championship-wise has completely been made illegitimate in the eyes of many. And if you don't think that people are going to tune out of NASCAR next year for this, you need to sell me oceanfront property be sold oceanfront property in Utah. Like, if you look at the way that people reacted after Spingate in 2013, and then you look at the numbers in 2014, you see how many people walked away from the sport, it was glaring. It wasn't like, oh, I get lame duck season for TNT and ESPN, all that, but it was glaring from the beginning of 2014 that people were stopping watching because of that. Okay, the crawl's wrong. What did it get wrong? All right. Like, it's unofficial at the moment. There's a reason it says unofficial. We're, like, if they change anything, we'll change it. I'm beside myself at this point. I love this sport, but I hate its officiating. I think NASCAR took a weak as hell approach to this. And because of this, now we are going to have a huge black eye in this entire season. This season that has had so many issues beforehand. Do you think that Gibbs will appeal? No. It's clear what he did. It's clear what Bell did. If they appeal, that is dumb as hell. I think that is so dumb if they appeal. No. I don't think they will appeal. Welcome to hell, everybody. Yep. Yeah. I love it. Unofficial is unofficial. If you can tell me what we got wrong, then I will. But yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous, man. Oh my God. And I'll tell you this, for those of you who have been like, we need to get rid of the playoffs and been on that road with me for like the last 20 years, this is probably the best you'll get. NASCAR will probably change to something else. I mean, they got a new deal coming in 2025. So if they were going to change anything, it would be after this. That's another crossroads for NASCAR. The thing is, I don't trust NASCAR in any way to rectify anything. I expect NASCAR at this point to deflect, to blame others, and to stick their head in the sand and act like everything is fine, everything is normal. That's what I completely expect out of it. By the way, the results I'm checking now that you're seeing at the top of the screen, those are the results NASCAR has on their website as the official results at the moment. We'll leave unofficial on for the rest of it, but these are the unofficial results now. But yeah, this is fully on NASCAR and the OEMs. And why does it say Elliott? I probably screwed it up then. There you go. My bad. There, should be fixed. Thank you. Someone gave me an actual reason it was wrong instead of just saying it's wrong. There you go. Where's it at? Praise to whoever I saw. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah. I won't even say it's favoritism. I'll just say that they wanted to get the least amount of blowback possible, and I think they completely failed. All right. Well, there was other stuff to talk about in this race. If there's any updates, yeah, NWP will be great this week. It's on this channel, so don't go anywhere. Subscribe. You'll be able to catch it Wednesday night. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I see people being like, you called it for the wall ride. It was, blatantly this, and this. Yep. Bell, yeah, is officially 22nd position. And yeah. Let's talk about the actual race here. I know that a lot of people are just here to watch me rant for another 30 minutes, but we got plenty actually to talk about. This race was actually really damn good. I want to know, before all the controversy, give me out of 10 what you thought. Because I thought it was about a 7 or an 8. I thought it was a pretty solid race before then. I thought that the racing, for the most part, had been very much improved upon. I thought early on it was a little bit of improvement, but as the race went on and they were starting to be able to race earlier in runs, I thought it was better. Blaney, was the best car out there, but it wasn't like it was impossible. It felt like a Martinsville race, which I was happy with. A lot of people seemed pretty happy with how it was. Now, granted, there's also probably based on probably based on the fact that we've seen so many crappy ones. Someone's telling me to read Brad Keselowski's tweet. Yeah, Brad Keselowski. We have drivers officially now against the playoffs vocally. This should be the last straw on the camel's back for the playoffs. Brad Keselowski said that. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Somebody finally had the cojones to say what so many have been thinking. We have drivers now against it who had no skin in the game either. Oh my God, man. There you are. I mean, welcome to hell. Welcome. It just gets better and better. Yeah, so I would not be surprised if we have more people too. I would not be surprised in any way if we have more drivers saying some stuff tonight about this. So, oh my God. I'm going to have such a headache tonight. Hey, at least you know one thing. There is no way the Vikings could disappoint me more than NASCAR as a sanctioning body has. So, Vikings probably are going to choke and lose in a terrible way, and I'm going to be like, this is fine. Fire everywhere. This is fine. I'm a NASCAR fan. It's worse. Oh, my God. I'm telling you know what? Let's have the recency bias flow. I would like to say this or ask this. Not Q&A. YouTube being stupid too. Let's get a poll out here. Which do you think is worse? I'm sorry, and I know a lot of people like, okay, talk about the damn race. It's hard to, man. It's hard to after we saw this. It is really hard to. Spingate, or I'll call it Bellgate. I personally think this is because of where it is in the season, what's at stake, and the fact that we have been shoved this down our throats for 10 years saying that, no, there's nothing dumb that could happen like Spingate. That's the worst. That's the lowest we can get to. No, we've hit a new low. We have hit a new low tonight. Wow. Wow. And of course, we have people that are, holding water and being like, RCR start an extra car, and park it after 5 laps to make sure Earnhardt would. Okay, that was wrong then too. But NASCAR has made a point since 1994, since 1993 to change that stuff. I keep getting told, like I've seen Pete Pistone putting that out there. It's like I've been getting told by these same damn people that it's not 2003 anymore, that it's not 2013 on back anymore. Yet we're using examples from the 1980s and 90s to defend this now. Make it make sense, people. I get it. The payroll can be fun, but come on, make it make sense. Have a real argument about it instead of just saying, Earnhardt used to do it. Earnhardt shouldn't have to be the scapegoat for every stupid thing this sport has happened to it. And I'm sick and damn tired of every time, every good or bad thing that he ever did being used as justification to make the good and bad things today their arguments. I'm sick of it. This is stupid. Find a new argument. If I got to accept your bad arguments for it, then at least at some point give me a better one. Jesus Christ. If this is the best that people on the payroll can give me, then we need to have new people there. Oh my God. I'm sorry. This it's just getting worse, man. It's just getting worse. And don't get me wrong, I love seeing NASCAR shill in there because I know it's a parody. The problem is there's people that talk like that account that aren't a parody account. That's the problem. It's a freaking joke, man. Let's talk about the race itself. Let's actually talk more in depth. MTJ started on the pole, the highlight of his season. It did not go well. He finished 24th. He led early on, but then, of course, when he was going to the pits under green, sped on pit road, had other issues, made it to the lead lap again, but never could recover. I'll give you this. Chase Elliott today, Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney. Man, they were the most entertaining guys to watch today. They put on a show today. Going through the field, bumping guys out of the way, racing really hard between the two of them. I am so glad that they were the guys battling at the end 1-2. I am so glad that it was Blaney and Elliott because those are the deserving drivers who were racing up front and should have been racing for the win today. I loved that this race ended with a long, drawn-out green flag organic run. And with that, you got the best of the best. I mean, Blaney, Elliott, and Larson. I believe 3 of the last 4 champions up there racing. And racing really damn well also. And I'll say this too. Shout out to Austin Cindric for a top 5 run, a really great run for him. He's been MIA for so much of the year. A lot of people, including myself, said pretty wasted playoff spot having him up there. Ran very respectfully all day and then peaked at the end of it. Cindric is going to win a Martinsville race at some point if he keeps that up. Plus, Penske's so damn good at these small, short tracks, flat tracks too. But yeah, I mean, Elliott early on muscled his way to the lead, and it looked like it could be his day. He would go on and win stage 1 over William Byron, Briscoe, Preece, and Blaney, the top 5. Then Larson, Bowman, Dillon, Logano, and Brad Keselowski as well. Oh, man. Anyway, let's go to stage 2. I will read the super chats at the end. I promise. We will cover all of that. We have specific segments, so a lot of people coming in here that didn't see the race, being like, "Let me get," I see like, let's see, either didn't see it or coming in late. Like I saw, like, let me get Elijah here. Let me guess, playoff shenanigans. Yep. We've been saying for years this stuff would happen, but nope. No, man. No, we're just in fantasy land. Stage 2, and I'll say stage 1. Stage 1 was a slow burn. There were some issues, with different people getting into each other and all of that. Just typical Martinsville stuff. But stage 1 was probably the slow burn stage of it, the weak part of this race. So to me, the race just got better. If you're watching for the individual race, and it's so hard to nowadays because everything that we have right now is so intertwined with the racing itself. You really like that part of it, at least. We get to stage 2, and a lot of this race was the Hendrick show. The 9 and the 24 up front. Byron would take it on the high side. Another thing that will be forgotten about this race, the high side worked. And it worked to, I won't say perfection, but perfection enough for what we have. You were able on restarts to get the lead on the high side. You were able late in runs to get up on the high side and pass people. And I don't need a 2007 to 2012 kind of Bristol where we're 3 wide and every line is available. I don't want that for Martinsville. I'm fine with a lane and a half being good, or even 2 lanes like today was. I like that, and I think this is something really good to build on for Martinsville next year, and I think all the flat short tracks next year. I hope that they continue to test on the offseason with this stuff. But Byron took it on the high side, and you saw a lot of that on restarts. He was very good on the high side for the most part all day. And a lot of just cautions, a lot of people going around, a lot of different stuff with that, and it was Carson Hocevar in the middle in stage 2, who was a weapon, who was I saw at one point it was like a low trend of like Hocevar terrorism, because that's what it was. Hocevar, I think, got Harrison Burton, and then later he got into the 38 and the 31, spinning them around, diving it in there. Again, I get it's probably because his son got taken out in it, but Jeff Burton, and I will say Steve Letarte to a point too, going in on Hocevar, warranted completely. Carson Hocevar, I said it last week. Last week we saw the absolute best that Carson Hocevar is. A very talented young driver who in so many ways can be a star of this sport and can be one of the faces of this sport long term. And I firmly believe that. I think when he gets his stuff together, he is one of the best drivers out there. And I love seeing how good he can be in just Spire equipment. Then today you have the other end of Carson Hocevar. You have the driver who is going to dive it on in there when he is way in over his head, who was doing this kind of stupid stuff, I think, last year too with him and Ty Gibbs, causing multiple wrecks, getting later on taken out by Alex Bowman, of all people. He just reined it in. And it's, you know who it reminds me of? Not as good, I'll say this, not as good equipment either, so not as good of results. But Carson Hocevar reminds me of a young Kyle Busch. If you remember a lot, especially when he was at Hendrick, that people said about Kyle Busch is if that young man can just get his temper, just get the wild side of him in check, he's going to be a star and he's going to be dominating the sport. And Kyle Busch, from I would argue 2005 to about 2013-14, was that wild child. His temper would get out of control, or he'd get in way over his head, and he'd be trying to overdrive the car, and it would get him in trouble. And whether it be the injury, becoming a dad, whatever it might be, Kyle Busch around 2015, it just all started to click for about 5 or 6 years, where the talent, the age, and then finally the lowered temperament finally all worked together. And from 2015 to 2019, Kyle Busch was one of the most unbeatable drivers out there. It was insane. You had to be somebody, like Kevin Harvick out there, or a lucky Jimmy Johnson, with all the crazy stuff going on, or one of the best seasons, in my opinion, the best overall season under any points format ever, with Martin Truex Jr. in 2017 to beat him, or just even your Joey Logano. and I think Hocevar might not reach those heights one day unless he gets the great equipment, but I think Carson Hocevar has the ability to be very Kyle Busch-esque. He just needs to rein it in a little bit. I love Carson Hocevar as a person. He's a great dude to talk to, and I think he's amazing when it comes to knowing how the game works out of the car. He's got to just fix that stuff, man. Another thing we saw, and I haven't noted down, we're not even going to talk really point by point of the race. There's just like there's subjects of the race. It was a lot of 2 and 3 wide racing. It was like the best stuff of the next gen where the car has a lot of grip. So early on in the runs, we had like 3 wide racing for good portions of the early 20, 30 laps of runs, where guys are just trying to make up any position they can, because it was difficult to pass in the short term. The long term, this tire worked much better and fell off early on in comparison, and I was very happy with that. But I was pleasantly surprised with just about everything with this. Sirens are coming. Maybe they're trying to go resuscitate the damn legitimacy for NASCAR after tonight. There they go. Fire away, fire away. Keep going, keep going. Not this house. Wee woo, wee woo. Late in stage 2, though, and winning the stage was Brad Keselowski. He came on strong, led the most laps he's ever led at RFK, won stage 2 over Blaney, Hamlin, Larson, and Byron, as well as Bell, Dillon, Bowman, Gregson, and Preece. Solid day. I should point this out. Solid second to last race in its existence for Stewart-Haas Racing. As for the finishing order of them, Noah finished top of them with 11th, I believe. Then Preece and Briscoe and Barry 14th, 15th, 16th, all lead lap. The way Stewart-Haas Racing is today, I'm happy enough with that. How the mighty have fallen a little bit. Let's get to the final stage here. Lap 271, they get it back going. Brad Keselowski zooms off. Again, I loved seeing Brad up there. I do think Brad has a couple more wins in him before he hangs it up. But a lot of just long green runs and a lot of contact. I love it. Again, this is what I love about Martinsville. We saw the accidental contact at the 17 that Chase Elliott did. I saw some people like freaking out like, oh my God, he purposely got into it. No, I think he just went down and got behind somebody who was pitting. The Elliott haters were out in force today, and I don't see why. He was a man on a mission, and so too a man on the mission was Ryan Blaney, who would move SVG, who was a lap car on the bottom, into William Byron, taking both of them way up to the high side, messing up the toe a little bit for the 24 and moving the 12 to second. We had green flag stops too, with the 9 going in early, which was a really smart move. That is what put Chase Elliott in the position, because he was falling back at the end of the long green run before that pit stop. But Chase Elliott pitting about 20 laps before everybody else is what put him in the position to win the race or run for the win at the very end of this race. It ended up getting him about 9 seconds on the guys that were racing up front, because he had the fresher tires for that much longer. Of course, after that, you had others stopping, the 11, the 5, others like that. But yeah, Elliott taking that provisional lead, was on a 2-stop strategy as well. So he was on a different strategy. I'm going to say this, for all the hate Alan Gustafson gets, he put Elliott in position to win today. And for all you Elliott fans who are very disappointed, I get it that he didn't win, he didn't make the next round, all of that stuff. Your crew chief did his job today, put the driver at his best to go out and win this race. And looking at how it was, he was 14 laps short. It was just 14 laps away. Finished second. The 9 team, in my opinion, had the call of the year with that. I see it in the chat there. As I said it, Steve-O puts it in. Alan made the call of the year. I think so, man. I think so. Kyle Petty says NASCAR got it right. Well, yeah, Kyle Petty also works for NASCAR. What else is he going to say? Like, trust me, I am not going to trust I can't. Okay, let me rephrase that. Because I want to say trust me and then say who not to trust. But I'll say this. I don't trust, personally, a bunch of people who are on the payroll telling me NASCAR gets every single call right. I want to think for myself on that. And no matter what the call was, it was going to stink to high heaven. And it is. This is a landfill call. Around 130 to go, Bell got put a lap down. He never was able really to recover from this, as there was that caution with Bowman sending Hocevar. But it was looking like no matter what, if it went green, caution, whatever it might be, there was going to be a really great battle at the end of this race, because with it going long, you had the great long run car of Ryan Blaney, and that's what's been able to work the last couple of years. You had a good short to medium run car in the 9 and the 5. And I'll say this, Larson had a valiant effort holding back the 9 in all of this. You had the split strategies, though, under green, and the split strategies under the caution, where the 5 and the 24 stay out. They go for the win that way. You got to do something different than the guys who are faster than you. I personally think the guys running for the win and running for the championship side of it, I think they all made, for the most part, the best calls they could. It was just different issues of where a caution would fall, maybe a bad pit stop. I believe at one point Elliott had a 21-second pit stop. It's things like that. But we go back with 94 to go, restart, and then it immediately gets stopped. This was the thing I thought was going to be the controversy of the race. Kyle Busch's right front tire comes off in turns 3 and 4. NBC calls it out. We all hear it. We all see it. We all know it's happening. NASCAR, though, in their infinite wisdom, does not, sets him back out under green once more. And, well, we had basically a restart that wasn't a restart, but it meant that Larson took the lead by the time the yellow came out because they did the scoring loop by the line. It meant that guys like Blaney lost spots, Elliott moved around. NASCAR, to have the broadcast on TV, because if us fans are seeing this on tape delay before they can make the call, then something is seriously wrong. Like, at least have the broadcast on one camera in the booth so someone can hit the button and put it out really quick or wave them around one more. This is just, they should not have went green there. It was clear as day, and I don't think it was like, oh, they wanted Larson to get ahead. They're favoring Hendrick. No, it was 2-3 Hendrick guys up there, or at least 2 of them, I believe. Like, that's just a dumb reasoning. I think NASCAR just legitimately had a stupid moment, and they've been having a lot of them lately. And a lot of people be like, oh, well, it's just the trucks that they had this in, and then, oh, well, it's just a few Xfinity races. Well, now we're doing the Cup races. Like, for those who are strictly Cup fans who think that the lower series can be taken less seriously when it comes to officiating, it's reached you now. Can we acknowledge it? It's a problem, and it needs to be addressed for 2025 because they're not going to address it in a week. They haven't been able to address it in the entire season, so please address it by Daytona, or by Bowman Gray at least. But preferably at least Daytona should be. I think they should have just reset it to the previous running order, just left it be, made it simple like that so we're not having this kind of a BS, but, by technicality, they did get that call right. I just think it was the wrong call to let them back green when we knew there was giant tire debris out there. So we do get back going with 87 to go. It's the 5 and the 24 up front. 5 launches away because he had a great restart and actually held off the 9 for a good amount of this run. But as the last laps went along, the only thing outside of the race for the win that really happened, or championship side of it, was Tyler Reddick. He went out because his car turned into a giant monster s'more. Started smoldering in the car. He smelled smoke. It was clear there was some kind of fire somewhere. He's good to go. He didn't need to be racing out there, so he just got a head start in the traffic. But what I liked about it is that the fastest car was behind the slower cars. You had Larson getting run down by the 9. You had the 9 getting run down by the 12. And you knew it was all going to come together in the last couple laps. At this point, too, Byron is starting to fall back. That's what set up having the 1 and the 3 behind him. Yeah, Bell trying to make his way up to the 23, who's been lapped, which has taken him a chance away at getting a lap back. And with 25 to go, the 9 nudges the 5, gets into him. Clean run, in my opinion. Solid bump and run. Gets by, goes to the lead. The 12 moves to 5 same way, but the 5 gets right back to him. Larson pays him back. I love that stuff because it's not dirty. It's just normal short track racing. You're not shipping them into the fence. But finally, Blaney does get by, and in the next 10 laps with 16 to go, catches Elliott. Then the next lap makes a move, gets by the 9, and runs away with the win until we get to the real story of the week. That will definitely continue to be the story of the week. So, hey, man. I personally thought the race itself really, really fun. Really fun race. I thought that that for the most part, NASCAR did a pretty good job at getting, I think I've said Goodyear did a pretty good job getting it set up so we could have some really solid racing. Unfortunately, the shenanigans with the playoffs and I'd say blatant manipulation for 2 of the contenders and competitors to get in completely ruins it for a lot of people. And because that is the storyline, because that is what NASCAR and the networks want to focus on, that took center stage. So congratulations, NASCAR, for opening Pandora's box. Thank you. Let's see. Per Jeff, this is from Caesar 54. I'll double check just to be sure, but it sounds like Joe Gibbs can't protest this. So even if they wanted to, they can't. Yes, from Jeff Gluck. Thank you, by the way, Caesar 54 in the chat for letting me know this. Per Jeff Gluck, Joe Gibbs tells Dustin Long NASCAR told him, being told Gibbs, the team cannot protest a safety violation. So yeah, that's definitely why they called it, so they didn't have to deal with it through the week. I love this. From Dalton Hopkins on Twitter here. Elton Sawyer was just one lap away from being able to go home early. Yep. They're going to send him out to be the sacrificial lamb. 'Tis the life of being a NASCAR fan, man. But hey, I'll say this. On the positive, Blaney, Elliott, Larson, pat yourselves on the back. That was a hell of a great finish, and I loved every bit of it. And for everybody who, like me, was so positive after Homestead, we all knew it couldn't last forever because we're NASCAR fans. We got to have something we're upset about. Yeah, Elton Sawyer he has to hate his job. Because he'll look like the biggest idiot out there, and it's clear as day. He's just repeating what people above him are telling him to say. CM3, bro. Hocevar was a moving safety violation. Yeah. Nah, Spencer, we were happy last week, and we were happy, I think, for about 499 laps of this race. Ah, man. We're going to let that poll just run the rest of the way. Bellgate was horrible. Blaney won me 117. Should I bet it all on the Vikings? Never bet on the Vikings. Never bet on the Vikings. Again, they can't disappoint me as much as NASCAR has today. Real quick, shameless plug. We'll be live after the finale weekend. We are sure to have shenanigans next weekend as well, so be sure to subscribe and come on in for all those. And then we'll be live on Wednesday for NWP. Danny B, Eric, and I will break down all of that. Got a ton of fun stuff to talk about. Trust me, you will not want to miss it. Lightning round should be pretty fun too. But let's roll on in. Finish this baby off with the super chats. Steve-O with the 5 saying Angel Hernandez strikes again. I think you're talking about for the restart. That wasn't a restart, but technically was a restart. Pretty much. I agree. Michael Kelly Gilliam, thank you for the 10, 11, 12 gifted memberships. NASCAR Fanatic with the 2. Missing rings, Kyle Larson 2024. Yeah, I think I got a couple. I got at least one I can make this week. What should I do? Should I do put a 5 or a 20 in the chat? I'm leaning towards 20, but what missing rings, if I do one this week, should I do? The 5 or the 20? Because I feel like the 20 could be a really interesting one. Especially after what we just saw this past week. Or do both. Yeah. Let's see. Seeing a lot of 5. Seeing a lot. You can put both if you want. I could try and make it work. Might have multiple videos on one day though. All right. I will. 5 is leading, but both I think might be taking it over. We'll work on it this week. Maybe we'll do back-to-back days of it. Oh, man, I was going to do a Final Four, not prediction video, but a Final Four, what do you call it? Preview. And I think I got to push that to Thursday so that I can do a video on this. Because when the dust settles, I know that more people are going to say stuff about it from NASCAR, and we're going to learn more. But I will keep those in mind. Steve-O with another 10. Talk about putting NASCAR into a predicament. NASCAR officiating has had a tough year. The precedent is set and it should be legal. This has been one hell of a season, y'all. 5 missing is wild. Jupiter Rain for the 2. Jeff Gordon, you have to suit up one more time. Yes, Jeff Gordon to the 13th man to the Final Four. Oh my God. Every way that it even has a 24 card benefiting from it. That's the funny part. Like it's just like Spingate. Fred Dog with the 5 puts on this conspiracy hat. Byron is the only Chevy that might get in. Get 2 Chevys right behind him that can't pass him for the last 20 or so laps. Yeah, I brought that up too. Just saying. Just saying, man. Hold my blunt for the 2, says Logano and Blaney. Prove consistency is everything. It's funny. Consistency in the even years for sure for Logano. Hunter Nixon Fishing with the 5. As a Larson fan / Harvick fan, I'm not even mad anymore. The system doesn't reward consistency like playoff defenders say. I don't think it rewards a lot of stuff that people say it does. Fred Dog with the 5. Puts on conspiracy hat on top of other conspiracy hat. The 23 just so happens to cut a tire and slows down just enough to let Bell go by. The radio, that's the thing, like NASCAR should be so pissed at NBC being like, stop showing that they all cheated so we can make a simpler call. Not that I guarantee you Twitter reporters and sleuths, I think, would be much better at finding that though. Reverend Rasheem Hall Stewart saying 36 race points format is the best way to crown a champ. I agree. Because there can be shenanigans, but they're much easier, I think, to predict and get ahead of instead of just have stuff like this happen. But hey, if they don't change it after this, I feel like we've said this so many times, don't change it after something as dumb as this, they're never gonna. Sheepbot for the 2, abolish the playoffs next year. Here. You, me, and Brad are on the same boat with a lot of other people. Brandon with the Canadian 7 saying we might as well call the Final 4 the Final 5 instead. I think this was before we got a verdict. Yeah. Austin with the 5 saying, in my opinion, the 23 radio should DQ the 20. The radio communication sounds like Spingate. So does the 3 radio. Put the 5 in the playoffs or the 9. The 5 would have been the next one up. I think he should have been in. That's my take on it. It's going to be funny. The same people who said I hated Larson after I questioned why NASCAR was iffy with their calling at the Brickyard will now say that I'm a Larson defender. It's funny. Sivo with another 5. Tough call. Do you screw HMS or JGR? I think both teams should be DQ'd. 24 was taking up the entire track. Leave it to the 3 team to intervene. Yeah, I'm with DQing them both. NASCAR Fanatic with the 2. The thing is, the 24 had to do what he did was fair. Well, no, I don't think the thing is that the race manipulation part is the part for me. Byron just sat in front of the manipulation. But we've seen before where other teams can manipulate for another team and all of them get penalized. In that case, it was all one organization, so that's probably the discrepancy that NASCAR does look at with that. SW with the 2, I don't know what to say. This is just something else. Yeah. I don't know what to say anymore either, man. I mean, I do. I've been on here for over an hour, but yeah. Fred Dog with the 5. Just do the 3 cars, no 4th car entered, Hendrick or JGR. Both teams manipulated, in my opinion, and they would have had done it for their other drivers if given a chance. I think that's true too. They would have. Wyatt, Alex Bowman added to the chase. I love the memes. The memes this week are going to be legendary, man. Like, I wish Twitter was as prominent as it is now for an Instagram too, because the NASCAR memes account for when Spingate happened, because my God, it would have been legendary. This is going to be a legendary week to just sit on social media and watch everything burn down around you. Matthew with the 5. Hendrick fan here. Rick needs to get all of the big brains in the shop together with Chad and Jeff. This organization has regressed to no cars in Phoenix. Well, now they have 1 car in Phoenix. TJ with the 2. Feels like this could finally break the playoffs. I mean, this year has felt different. I don't know about the rest of you guys. Maybe it's my personal bias against it, and that probably is it. But my opinion is, like, we have heard so much from so many people, even half the drivers that made the playoffs against it, anonymously though. But we heard, in the summer with the Joey Logano win, we heard with the Austin Dillon situation, we have heard it in the first round of the playoffs and the second round and the DQ and all. And now we've heard it with this. This is the most anti-playoffs I have ever seen social media and the NASCAR industry as a whole that isn't NASCAR itself be. And this is also the most desperate I've seen those who defend NASCAR, how most desperate I've ever seen them get, and scraping the bottom of the barrel for anything they can find, even if it's examples from like 40 years ago. So it does feel different, but if NASCAR doesn't change it now, they're never going to. And, you know, that's what I think is going to happen. I think that's going to happen, or they're going to tweak it in a small way. I in no way see them trying to rein it back in. Even though it's proven time and time again with each one of these instances getting worse than the last, outside of Spingate, because that was way worse than pretty much all of these until today. This is it's been an inevitability that we've been all seeing. It's going to happen at some point. Even those who were pro playoffs or maybe in the middle, like everyone has seen that something like this was going to happen. We saw it with Stewart-Haas like a year or two ago, whenever it was. We've seen that this was building up for a while. Anyone who said they didn't see it coming was either sticking their head in the sand or wasn't paying attention well enough, because we all knew something was going to happen this big. Austin with the 5 saying easy solution, DQ the 24 and the 20. Also trash this format. Add the closest guy in points and then trash this awful format. That's 100% where I'm at. Tony with the 2. If you put the 5 in, Chevy still gets what they want. They get they get somebody in no matter what. The team orders pays off no matter what. Let's see, Jay Fendi for the 5. If what Chastain did in 2022 was a wall ride, Bell gave us Dollar General great value version of the wall ride. That is true, but it was a wall ride, but it is true. Immortal for the 2 saying great race, but come on NASCAR, change this format. Steve-O with the 5 saying easy, put LaJoy in. He wrecked enough drivers to get in, surely. Man, even when he doesn't get involved in anything, LaJoy still catches strays. Austin with another 2. We have to end the format. We have no legitimacy. I feel like that boat is passed for so many people a long time ago. Ross Crash Stain with the 12-month member chat. Oh my God, my screen just... come on. My screen just reloaded on me, so hold on a second. Sorry about that. I apologize. It gets to the point where if you're live for long enough now, it'll just completely like goof up your entire stream. So let me find it. My God, I appreciate you guys have been all over it tonight. So you called it the Hail Bellin. I think it's the Fail Bellin now. Let's see. Kyle here says, at this, penalize everyone and Austin Dillon becomes a champion because why not? Argument at this point, but yep. Vikings all day for the 5 saying, in my opinion, there should be a 3-car playoff. Both Fords advanced. All that's left are Chevy and Toyota cars, and either manufacturer deserves the last spot. Well, Reddick got in based on the rules fairly. I don't want to punish Reddick, but I'm with the 2 Penske cars are in and Reddick. They're the ones who legitimately got in. Old Tech with the 5. Jeff Gordon added into the chase. That's going to be all over the place this week. Thank you, Cedric, for becoming a member as well. Gooby's Fun Zone for the 5. Imagine if they take until later in the weekend to issue a ruling. I see a lot of these were during the point that we were waiting. Ainsley for the 5. I think both should be DQ'd. Byron had the 2 Chevys blocking for him. Bell did a wall ride and had Bubba slow for him. Yeah. I mean, this was going to stink no matter what. Kyle with another one here, and same with Austin, so we'll read them back to back. What's worse, if who gets the final spot wins a title? The mental gymnastics about how the system is good will be crazy. I mean, they've been crazy all year. And then Austin saying, just have a 3-driver championship this year. I'm all for that. Fred Dog with 5. I'm on a pro wrestling blog, and I'm having to explain to my friends how this makes NASCAR look more staged and faked than that. Think about that. I don't think it's staged or scripted. I just think it's blatantly just losing control in every single way. NASCAR leadership, just it's like a chicken with its head cut off. Granted, it was a non-sober chicken with a head before, but now it is a complete chicken with its head cut off. Austin with the 5. I'm a Hendrick fan. The 5 should be in. The 24 should be DQ'd. The sport has to change the format. It's a joke. What has our sport come to? Alex for the 2 saying it should just be Blaney, Reddick, and Logano. I see a lot of people on that. Riley Osborne for the 2 first super chat. Thank you on the channel. The 20 would have been in without Chevy cheating. True, but it's kind of like the old adage, or like the old thing that our moms all used to tell us, like, do 2 wrongs make a right? I don't think so. Michael Dye for the 2. Make the Winston Cup format great again. Yes. I don't know how we could say that though with the just the small little bit. Like Garabuki with the 10. Today we learned manufacturers working together to manipulate the finishing results is fine. Yeah. That is now what has been, we want to talk about what is sort of the way to go at this point forward, and this is it. Now we know that it is fine for Toyota or Ford or Chevy to blatantly manipulate the end of a race. We now know it's fine. Which I don't like the path that goes down. But that's just me. A couple more here. Seahawks 24 for the 2. 10 plus lab down 12 pushes 22 to win at Vegas. Sure. Fair enough. Those were teams helping each other. The 10 lap down, Blaney pushing Logano to win at Vegas. But NASCAR had put a precedent out there that was fine. So, I don't know. I don't even know where to stand at this point with it. It's so crazy. I kind of figured that was fine two weeks ago because it was something that had been shown to be fine before. But now you then look at all this and it's like, you got to kind of scrap a lot of stuff and just go back to square one. Steve-O with the 5. 24 was political answer. How much of this call did NBC influence? NASCAR was not going to let HMS not be a part of the Final Four. Spingate 2.0. That's the thing I'm talking about here, is that people are never going to let the Hendrick favoritism stuff go. There's been a lot of instances this year where people are like, this is really fishy. But I also said that the way they were going to kind of wiggle it in there was it wasn't the 24 that did it. It was the 3 and the 1, and they were just going to say it was all clear. That was the easiest way they could wiggle their way out of having even more of a blowback. SR Superman saying they had to wait for the HMS check to clear. Memes are going to be amazing this week, man. Austin Twisted Rebel Brit for the 5. Didn't leave any comment, but I appreciate it. Marky Mark with the 12 saying, don't sleep on my man Blaney. I picked him to win. I picked him. I had faith in Blaney all along. Twin Spinner again saying Jeff Gordon added to the playoffs. Hoosier for the 5 saying Chase and Larson should have taken the 24 and 20 spots. Denny and Logano shouldn't have been in the round of 8. Well, only one of them would have made it in, so it should have been Larson if both were DQ'd. And Elliott would have probably been the first one out if you DQ'd them for far enough back. But I get the point. The point definitely stands. Austin with another 5. I appreciate it, Austin. Saying, how can anyone watch a full season of NASCAR anymore? These drivers' championships are the drivers' championship is the joke of all jokes, and the format, you're killing our sport. Are you sure you're not Brad Keselowski's burner? Mr. Bad Guy with the 2. So about that F1 race today was cool. I did not watch it, but I saw stuff going on. I was busy until literally 5 minutes before the race started for NASCAR today. Steve-O with a 10 saying, last one, NASCAR should have waited till tomorrow to take their time to review the evidence. Funny how they cut the broadcast as soon as the announcement was made. You can't tell me NBC influenced it. Well, I think they had to have it out today. As much as people don't like that and wish they could have taken more time, you can't have the championship be decided by a call on a Tuesday. No matter what format. Winston Cup, Latford system style, 10, 12, 13-man chase, elimination playoffs. You can't have the championship be up in the air all week. This isn't the 50s. You can't do that anymore. You have millions of people waiting for the call, and I guarantee, based on the way that like we had only 400 people waiting in here before the call, and then it peaked really quickly to like 2,500 people. There were a lot of people, diehard fans, and whichever casuals alike, waiting for the broadcast call of it. So I disagree. They should have had it today. Where I think they shouldn't have it is they shouldn't have it where we get put in this position so damn often. They have to make a call on the broadcast like this. A Prada with the 10 saying Chevy blocking for Byron is sus. Bubba slowing for Bell is sus. But the wall ride needed to be called no matter what. However, can just agree on getting the Latford system back. Latford over playoffs. Dude, I'll take Chase. I'll take anything at this point, except for like another playoff format. Ryan Campbell with the 5, DQ both and Larson in. I think that's where a lot of people are standing this week on it. Austin Britt with the 5. What if Dylan said that to stir the drama, to make NASCAR look worse for the Richmond call? That would be some 4D chess in every single way, and I would actually really respect that. The Oodles for the Australian 10, I believe. Such a BS clown call from NASCAR. The 20 and 24 DQ'd. Chevy cheating again and Toyota also cheating is my opinion. Larson should be in. Didn't even take the radio into account. All I can say is watch Wednesday night because we're going to be definitely diving more into this. Jamie here for the 2 saying deduct manufacturer points for guilty Chevy cars. If that's worth it for the manufacturers, sure, but I don't see NASCAR. The thing is, TV providers and manufacturers have more power than NASCAR's sanctioning body, and you can't convince me otherwise. That's basically like a manager of a grocery store trying to like penalize the CEO or like the SEO or whatever of it, or whatever the titles are. You know, that's I think where we have the problem. Marky Mark with the 2, press F to pay respects to Kyle Busch. Saw a lot of people doing that. Yeah, he ain't getting the win this year. We all know it now. We knew it for a while, but it's like completely in there now. There's no way he'd win Phoenix. I hope he does, but he won't. Jets Mets with the 2, NASCAR needs a mirror. They caused this. I agree. I think that's a big part that I'm on. Soupy Spirit with the 2. Why do you have to be mad? It's only a game. Why not? You know, we spend all day, all year watching it. Why not be upset at it? It's an escape. We can be mad at an escape. I think that's the way to go about it. You know, it's not going to ruin everything in my week. Trust me, I have plenty of great things going on in my life that NASCAR will not ruin it. But in the moment, you can be upset at these things. But, you know, I'm glad that you have the stoic approach to it. Fred Dog with the 5. I can see NASCAR DQing Byron on something in inspection to give Larson the 4th spot because NASCAR. This whole thing is a sorry joke. And no one but NASCAR can be blamed on it. That and the teams. I mean, Irvin with the 5. Can I sell you a $2.5 million house made of hay on the top of a mountain? Yes, there is a garage for the tank car. Anyways, yeah, NASCAR Tower is a lol cow. Very much a lol cow. Lol cow of the week, NASCAR. Gooby again with another 20 here. Wow, thank you. I wonder if the fact the GM is going to race the Camaro next year with them discontinuing production of it. If that has something to do with it, maybe, but I just think NASCAR, at this point, I really do think NASCAR just makes terrible calls. Alexander with the 10. NASCAR wants chaos in their races, parity in their championships, personalities in their interviews, and to stop Hendrick Motorsports from continuing their dynasty. SW with the 5. What pains me is that Bubba gets massive hate, more massive hate than others. Not saying I defend him. This went too overblown. I blame it on NASCAR and the manufacturers. I'm gonna say this isn't just for you, but a lot of other people. Like, please, work on typing it all out. I will read it. Twin spinner with the 2. Everything's great. Cody Workman, how's it going, man? For the 5 on Tuesday, I'm voting no on this system. Repeal and replace the NASCAR playoffs. I like that, Cody. That's good. I'm with you on that. Scott McNew with the 10. 24 and 20 should have been DQ'd, in my opinion. Stinks that the best Martinsville next-gen race is overshadowed by this. One last thing, the Winston Cup point format rocks. I agree on all counts, and it does suck because this was a lot of fun. The first 499.5 laps of this race were a lot of fun to watch, and there was a little bit of controversy with the restart, but all things considered, really didn't make anything that bad. We could have been spending the week nitpicking. Instead, we're talking about legitimacy again, and you know. I know on NWP we've done a good part of like trying not to talk about the same arguments with the playoffs, but I think this opens up such a huge can of worms. You can't deny it at this point. That's the biggest thing. So just know, going in on Wednesday, if you want to watch the show, we will talk a lot about this and a lot about the playoffs. There's no way you can avoid it anymore. The Oodles with a 19-month member chat. NASCAR screwing up the playoffs since they created it. Rock's reviews and reactions to the 2. Honestly, NASCAR should have just put Larson in. That would have been probably the result that made the most people happy. That would have given them the least amount of blowback. Try Nitro for the 5. Larson and Bell under a full points format are 1-2 in the standing, separated by 6 points. After tonight, neither will compete for the title. Yeah. Yep. Brock Culpepper with the 2. Let's go Blaney. Yes, let's go Blaney. I'm happy for my brother. Blaney's his driver, so I'm happy for my brother. He probably wasn't watching because, you know, he again is very busy with life stuff and just in general. But, you know, if he was, Blaney won. Sly Supersonic with the 532. Any and all respect for RCR and Trackhouse and 2311 just went out the window. They can't win because they're too busy being slaves for HMS and JGR. I don't think that one race necessarily puts them in that box, but I get the idea of it. God, this is bad. Alexander with the 5. Hendrick drivers scored the most points the last 2 years, and their championships have been stolen by Penske playoff bums and will be a third year. Tell me how you really feel, Alexander. Rock's reviews and reactions on another 2 here. In other news, the pain continues as Truex fans. I feel for y'all. Our boy Ellie Productions was at the race this past weekend, or today, I should say, and it was looking all good for him. And I saw him really happy on social media. And then it's like, oh, if someone could have told that poor man that 4 hours later it would just be more pain. He probably would expect it, but you know, they didn't burst his bubble. It's kind of like that meme of SpongeBob where it's Squidward and Mr. Krabs, and are like, how do we tell him? And it's SpongeBob all happy out there cleaning. Cy Supersonic with the 3. Tony Stewart was right about NASCAR. He's a genius. It doesn't take a genius at this point. Like, anyone who just was critically thinking about the ramifications of everything that could happen knew that this could happen and was going to happen. A Prada with the 20, saying Kyle Petty's take. First, there's no rule against blocking, and manufacturers have been working together for years, say Daytona, Talladega. Second, wall ride is against the rules. That's a fact. I still want the Latford system is also what you say. NASCAR's made it to where blocking at different points has been against the rules for advancement in the playoffs and different playoff stuff. Again, a lot of the stuff with the Roval in 22 or 3, whenever that year was. I don't know. I'll watch this together. They've made a big point about non-playoff guys influencing the playoffs and that they shouldn't, and all this other stuff. Spingate, another point of emphasis of manipulation. Blocking is not the issue. He is trying to make it, he's trying to minimize what happened because he has an agenda to push. The truth is that manipulation has been the big point of emphasis when it comes to that stuff. And I think I understand much more now the argument people had for Blaney pushing Logano a couple weeks back, though that is teammates working together more or less. but that has been the main point, is manipulation. The wall ride, I get that. It is against the rules. It wasn't exactly the same as Chastain, but it is clear that that Bell would not have been as far up when it comes to as far forward at the finish compared to the cars around him had he not put it in just completely in the gas on the wall ride. I'm with that too, but it's also the manipulation of the 23 team to get that position all put together. No, I'm sorry. I disregard 90% of what Kyle Petty says anymore because I know he's just going to say whatever fits into what he's supposed to say that week. The real gooey for 5. This discussion on the ruling will be insane to see on the Netflix show. Oh, whenever they give the date for the Netflix show, which by the way, thanks for the first super chat in the channel. Whenever the Netflix show comes out, man, I am going to be sat down for 7 straight hours watching that whole thing. Because this year, say what you want, the entertainment value is there. Whether people come out and actually respond to it, we'll see. We will see. Size Supersonic for the 5. Hold on, Jarrett. I get what you're saying about Hocevar, but no one will ever repeat what Kyle did in 2015. That's not the point. No, the point is that Kyle Busch was an elite driver on a whole different level once he got everything figured out. Not that Carson Hocevar was going to break his leg and come back. You completely missed the point of what I was saying. Oodles again saying Marco Andretti tweet, the manufacturer manipulation is a result of the playoffs format, unfortunately. True. Completely true. And then says, favorite Twee SB from the catch fence, move NASCAR to Comedy Central because this is a joke. True, again, on all counts. Adam Smith with the Canadian 7 saying, F NASCAR and F the playoffs. Sorry, I need to vent. I hope Reddick wins the title so NASCAR can go cry in a corner. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the way that it's all put together. Blaney is if you want someone that can bring people universally more together, the closest you're going to get is Ryan Blaney. NASCAR won't be happy with Reddick, which will be really freaking funny to watch. Joey Logano will make no one but Logano fans happy, and Byron will make nobody wanting a legitimacy side of this happy. Like, Blaney's your guy if you're looking to try and make everyone sing Kumbaya together. But I really want Reddick to win just so I can see NASCAR squirm. I am that petty. Fred Dog with the 2. Knock, knock. Who's there? 50-50. Not a legit champ. Michael here. Reset on me. Michael, though, left a 2. Saying, good job, SVG, and good night. The situation is frowny face. A Prada with another 10. Eric Jones refused to pass Denny Hamlin in 2020 at Martinsville, and Kevin was eliminated that day. The 11-20 teams were not penalized that year. Today was sus, but playoff cheating goes back for years. Yeah, I think consistently inconsistent and terrible. Herschel here. NASCAR can put Homestead to the championship race and return to a full season points format in 2026. That will be perfect. I'd love it. Probably won't happen. American GM for the 5. This is the first time a Gibbs car didn't make the championship forever. Really? I guess you're right, I think. If that's true, that's a wild fact. Lachie Forever with the 5, disqualified Bell and Byron, and put the best Ford in the standings in the Final 4. Go Centric. I like that. That's funny. Gridsy Kid for the 2. Let's just put 8 cars in the championship race. Sure. That'll work too. Goopy with a 5 saying, not sure what's more embarrassing, the 5 innings, the 5th inning for the Yankees or this race. 100% this race. We've seen baseball games like that happen forever. This race is a different level. This is a once in a decade kind of controversy for NASCAR. Snappy with the 2. So about the Byron being Hendrick's grandson rumors. Dude, some of the rumors you find online are funny as hell. It's interesting. Hunter with 5. As a Hendrick fan, please let Reddick win just to piss off NASCAR execs. I'm glad we're on the same page there. Sith Lord for the 2. Apparently, IndyCar runs its races Sunday, huh? I don't know what you're alluding to. Sean with the 5. I'm curious what this does for 2311's case. On one hand, NASCAR dropped the ball in too many ways today. in way too many ways today. On the other, the 23 car was also involved. Watch a Netflix doc. Bryson with the 2. Remember all of this for a Joey Logano championship. It is an even year. Austin with the 5. If Byron got DQ'd, Bell would still make it in. He's still ahead of Larson in the points. They would probably just DQ them to make the next. Well, DQ, they'd put them to the back of the field. So they'd change it one way or another. Zoni with the 5. You think this mess will come up during the lawsuit proceeding? Also, at least F1 is classy when it comes to team orders. What a cluster truck. That's what you said, not me. The cluster truck's funny. I don't really think so. Awesome with 2 more here. Love you, Jarrett. You keep me posted during football season. No problem, man. And we'll do it the same this year. And also, NASCAR, thanks for calling NASCAR on their crap. No problem. I've been doing it since the inception of the channel. A Prada with the 10. Legitimacy ended in 2014 after Newman wrecked Larson on the last lap at Phoenix and was not penalized. Today is a continuation of this circus, and today won't be remembered in 5 years. Latford over playoffs. There's a lot of people who've just jumped off the ship with a lot of that stuff in the last 10 years. Tina with the 5. All I could think while the cameras were trained on Byron and Bell waiting the decision was Netflix is going to love this. I think that's a great way to end off. We're going to end the poll here that we've been running the whole time. Almost 2,000 of you voted on it. 59% say Bellgate is worse than Spingate. 41% on the Spingate train. But yeah, it's not a NASCAR season without the playoffs being front and center for a controversy. I'll tell you that. But thank you guys for coming on in. Thank you, Denver, there for the 5 saying Supercar's new playoff system is a lot better than NASCAR's, and they're introducing it next year. I've not seen that, but I will read up on it. I'll read up on it. While I'm thinking about it, just so that I have it ready to go when I can look at it this week. And Brian with the 2, let's see. Noah Lewis video, Jeff Gordon said they were yelling at the 5 back up. Interesting. But yeah, thank you guys all for coming out. I wish we could have more fun with this, but I still appreciate you giving me some of your Sunday night. Go enjoy it, have some fun, and we will see you this week. Plenty of videos, and NWP Wednesday night should be nuts. So, until next time, have a good one. Later, y'all.